Welcome everyone to the Wolf Watch Club channel. This is going to be our first interview, first winner interview, and first major video on the channel. My name is Gabriel. I'm a watch collector in New Jersey. Been a community member of Wolf Watch Club for a couple draws now, but now I've transitioned to now helping Mark D, not Marc Martin, Mark D, in getting social content, video content off the ground, and making sure that we spread the word because we want to build a community of real people, get their real stories, and keep things very grounded and straight straight to the point with people, their backgrounds, things like that. And I'm sitting with the myth, the legend, Marc Martin, who is who is a now two-time Wolf Watch Club draw winner. Mark, I want to give you the floor to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do. Who's Marc Martin?
What's up, everybody? My name is Marc Martin. Currently, I am a special education teacher in California. I am a doctoral candidate at Sac State. I'm a foster father, husband, brother. Just yeah, that's kind of everything that I've got going on in my life right now.
Okay, so a man with many hats.
Yes.
You are one busy guy. I know because we were initially in touch. We were trying to find time to schedule this. I know
Yes.
that you've got a lot of cool stuff going on in your life. And then tell me a little bit more about how your watch journey got started. Like, is there a very early memory? Like, what's like the earliest memory you have with a watch? Maybe what was the first watch you ever received or purchased for yourself? Like, how did you get into this crazy hobby that we love?
That's a great question. So this is gonna sound strange, but as much as I love watches now, I did not like them for the longest time.
Okay.
And I say that from someone who it might have been because my dad just only ever wanted to get me like jewelry and stuff for my birthdays and Christmases. And it was never stuff that I wanted. I wanted cool toys and video games and all kinds of stuff. And so I kind of turned up my nose to, the things that he was getting me, I think. The earliest watch that I can remember getting was right around my 18th birthday. Um, Close to my birthday, close to Christmas, close to my high school graduation. It was something given to me by my step grandfather, and I have pictures of me wearing it, but I have no clue what it was. The next time I know that I received a watch was whenever I graduated from my master's program from University of San Francisco. And that was gifted to me by my dad. And that's kind of the first one that started my collection,
Mhm.
but with an asterisk because I didn't start wearing it right away. Um, Right around that same time, I started wearing an Apple Watch, and that was like my
Okay.
daily for such a long time. And as an Apple Watch user, you can, tie your text messages and your emails to it. And I came to find that while I was at work, being a special education teacher and getting notifications about my kids throughout the day was super anxiety provoking for me. And so, December of last year, I decided that the Apple Watch wasn't going to be for me anymore, and I wanted to start getting like things that I could like wear daily. And so
Yeah.
I started looking at affordable options, Hamiltons, Tissot's, things like that. And I ended up getting those two, Hamilton, khaki Murph. And I've got
Nice.
a story about why I picked that watch too.
Okay.
And then a Tissot PRX, Powermatic 80.
Nice.
It's an in watch now for like getting started into like
Yep.
semi nicer watches. And so I was like, I like the light blue that goes with, my birth month color of March. Like it kind of fits me. And so that's kind of how I got started. And then I'll tell you, that just took me places.
Hey, PRX. So you got like the Tiffany blue, like that
Yeah.
Tiffany blue, like I think they call it like ice blue
Yeah, I
essentially.
feel yeah.
Yeah, I mean, killer watch. I've still yet to own a PRX. I'm sure I'll pull the trigger eventually.
Hmm.
Khaki Murph, also another watch that I want to get eventually. I've bought other things before that, and yeah, same thing with me with the Apple Watch. I totally get it. Like just having your phone already buzzes all day. Having that on your wrist is like it was the same thing for me. I just found it more of a distraction more than
Yeah,
anything. So I also said goodbye to the Apple Watch many moons ago, and started collecting beginner entry level watches like Citizen Seiko,
yeah.
Hamilton Tissot, things like that. Um, so tell me so you said you had the story with the Murph, right?
Yeah, so the story with the Murph is I was actually looking, I was diving deep into old pictures because I thought a very
Okay.
cool thing for me to kind of do would be to get watches that reminded me of people in my life,
Hmm.
right? And so like I'd want to get one for my grandfather, my grandmother, my dad, my mom, like things that remind me of them. And so for my grandfather, what I tried to do is I tried to go back and I tried looking at old pictures of me wearing that watch that he gave me, and I
Hmm.
just couldn't identify it. And so I thought, okay, if I can't identify the watch, what could I do to get something that might honor who he was? And so I was researching, okay, he was a serviceman, so,
Nice.
what brands, helped outfit like service
Hmm.
members while they were deployed and all of that. Came across Hamilton. And so as I was going through Hamilton's catalog, something that I didn't know about the Murph whenever I purchased it was that it was tied to the movie Interstellar. I purchased it because it
Yeah.
looked like a watch my grandfather would have worn way back whenever he was serving.
Right.
Right, it's got that vintage old school feel to it. And so
Yep.
that's why I picked it. I later found out that it was part of Interstellar, and I think that's kind of a cool piece too, but I think my story's a little better.
So I want to get that watch because Interstellar is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah,
I
it's a
just
fantastic movie.
it's just an absolute phenomenal film. If anyone in the audience hasn't seen Interstellar, you have to just for Hans Zimmer, for the soundtrack, Matthew McConaughey, everyone. Like
Well, and the
it's
way that
just
they the pick the black hole and like everything that they did image wise for like those scenes with the black
yeah.
hole was like groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, it's a super trippy movie at times, but just visually is just a treat. But also the watches that you spot in there too are it's great for watch spotting because you have the Murph, Matthew McConaughey's character wears that like
Like
that
an
Flieger
aviator. Yeah,
style,
yeah.
Hamilton as well. I'm pretty sure there's a few other watches in there too, but yeah, no, excellent movie, great movie. Um, so cool. Yeah, no, I mean just those two watches already, the PRX and the Murph. I mean, those are some really good killer pieces. Um, so obviously, I know you have good taste because I've also been following you on Instagram. And I see the watches
Yeah.
that you post every day, and
Yeah.
it's you've got some serious stuff there. I love it.
A lot of California dials, and I really don't know. I
Yes,
think that started with the Apple Watch actually, because
yes,
they have a feature on there where you can do the California dial, and so I thought that was cool, and it was different from what other people
yeah.
were wearing like as their watch face, and so I think that translated into okay, like maybe I'll get that style watch, and does that exist outside of Apple Watch? And oh, here's this here it actually has a really cool history behind it, and not many watch brands are actually participating in that history.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I've got 10 with a California dial, and I love that collection.
Wow. Okay. So my next last question before we get into the watches that you won was gonna be, is there a specific pattern or theme among your collection? Like, is there a certain style that you gravitate to, whether it's divers, field watches, or California dials in your case? That was gonna be my next question is like, yeah, is there like an overarching theme, or do you have like, you may have 10 California dials, but then you have the rest of your collection is, like just sports
Sort of.
watches. Like,
The one that
give
my
me the
dad
lay of the
gave
land.
me, yeah, yeah. The one that my dad gave me was a Victorinox Inox, and that thing is like a
That's
43
a great
millimeter
watch.
beast, right?
Yeah.
And that's a chunky boy. I've got four different Mickey Mouse watches: Fossil, Invicta, Belova, and Citizen, the Ciosa.
Yeah.
That's a great looking watch to me.
Wow.
So I'm a Disney lover, love going to Disneyland, and the last couple times I went, like, I'm just sporting Mickey Mouse watches, and I love it. I love walking around the parks, and you'd be surprised. Like I didn't realize how many like compliments I was going to get on my watches as I'm pulling my hand up to look at the time, and people behind me, hey, that's a great looking watch. That literally happened like so many times, and I was really surprised, like, and thrown off guard that people are looking at the watches on my wrist, other than me, because I buy them for me to look at, not for anybody else to look at. So I've got those. I've got an old 2006 Invicta Pro Diver with an
Nice.
ETA movement, Timex. Um, what else do I have? Not very much more. Timex. Oh, and I have I've got a very niche fossil Swiss made watch. Back in
Okay.
2013, they tried dipping their toe into Swiss made, and that's when they started making their Swiss ET or STP movements.
Okay.
And they only did a run of these Swiss made watches for like 2 or 3 years, and they just stopped doing it.
Wow. Okay. I never knew that. I never knew that they actually. So you said this was now just over 10 years ago that they were starting to
2013, they
2013
dipped their
around
toe
there.
into it. Yeah.
Wow. I never knew that. And I'm also gonna have you send me
Oh yeah,
photos
I'll
of some of the
take a
stuff there
picture.
because I want to include them here for the audience to see. Yeah, no, that's fascinating. I always thought the fossil always was used like like the your tried and true Japanese movements. I've had a few fossils in the
Yeah.
past too. But yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
and they
that's
do that. They do a lot of quartz watches, but not a lot of people know that they own their own company, STP, that makes their own Swiss made movements. And
wow.
they don't
Okay.
use them as much as they probably should.
See, so this is exactly why we're doing this because I am thinking that I know so much about brands and watches and movements and all these different things, but now I'm learning that Fossil even has their own like movement manufacturer
Yeah.
basically that they just interestingly don't utilize as much. That maybe they should start utilizing it more. Yeah, no, wow, that's crazy. Real quick because I forgot to do it at the top. The joys of
It
the
happens.
first one on the channel. Quick wrist check. I see that you have a Mickey Mouse watch
I
on.
do. So this is actually a fossil Mickey Mouse, and it's probably got a Miata
Nice.
movement in it. And it's not
Okay.
utilizing
Hey,
their STP. But
hey,
it's a
great
good
movement.
looking watch, and I love wearing it. I'm also sporting a little Mickey
Oh
Mouse shirt.
yeah.
So I'm a teacher, and so like I'll wear these things, and my some of my students will glance and like, oh, that's a cool Mickey.
It's honestly like the perfect watch to wear, especially like with teaching because I mean, what you teach like elementary, middle, high
So I'm a
school?
special education teacher, and I work at a 7 through 12.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
And
Yeah,
this
because I
year I'm
mean,
primarily with seventh and eighth graders, but yeah, that could always change.
wow, cool. Yeah, because I mean, kids obviously know Mickey Mouse, Fossil, and I don't know Fossil, but Citizen also does a lot of their Marvel collaborations, their
Yes.
Disney collaborations, a lot of great characters on some really cool watches that I feel some people may sleep, they're kind of slept on, like
I
they
think
have
so too.
some really interesting designs with like Spider-Man, Superman's, things like
Mhm.
that, Star Wars, of course. So yeah, no, I love those types of watches. Um, Speaking of new watches in your collection, so as I mentioned at the top, you are now a two-time Wolf Watch Club winner. First one was the AQUA TERRA,
Mhm.
and now a day or two ago was the Rolex Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So I need to know, looking back now, how crazy is this?
It's insane. So, like you, I've only been doing this for a couple of draws now, right? So I started with the Rolex Explorer, and I saw the Rolex Explorer advertised, and I think I had seen advertisements for Wolf Watch Club previously.
Hmm.
But once I saw the Explorer and like clicked on the link, I noticed like the price. It was either 30 or $40 for per
Hmm.
ticket. And then I noticed the low ticket numbers. right? That they do with their draws.
Hmm.
And I thought, man, some of these other sites are, maybe up to 60,000 tickets, maybe 10,000, 20,000 tickets. Some of them don't even advertise how many tickets that they're trying to sell before the
Hmm.
watch goes, right? They're trying to sell you packages of 20, 30, 100,
Yeah.
600, right? And so like I had seen like some of the sites before, but this was the one that I decided to try to pull the trigger on, because back in May, June, I thought I'm starting my dissertation year. And I would love a Rolex Explorer because I'm going to be exploring this year. I'm going to be doing a deep dive. I'm going to be doing research. And I think that would be so symbolic of this year that that's why I dipped my toe into Wolf Watch Club, was that for
Hmm.
that specific reason, for the chance at winning that watch and making that dream on my dream
Hmm.
board that I have in my head a reality.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up purchasing, I think, 8 tickets into that draw just to
Okay.
check it out, but it didn't work out. But they had the Longines next, and I was like, oh, those are a little cheaper. I've been wanting to
Hmm.
get a Longines.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be my time. Nope. Um, right.
Little
So
did you
like
know.
with wins is also come losses, right?
Yeah.
So didn't get anything for that one. I only probably purchased 3 tickets into that one, just to dip my toe in again. Um, Aquaterra, Aquaterra was a last minute purchase. I think I purchased those tickets within the last hour, and I purchased five. I purchased 5 tickets within the
Wow.
like the last hour of the draw, and I was like, maybe. It was 5 out of 500, right? 5 out of 499. I'm like, okay, I've got a maybe 1% chance, and that's if they had sold out. I don't remember how many tickets they ended up selling out during that draw, but I thought, oh, 1 in 500, 1 in 100 chance.
Hmm.
That's okay. Those are okay odds for me,
Yeah.
and worked out this time. Worked out with the Aquaterra.
So, so before we move on to the next watch, so if I remember correctly from one of your Instagram posts that I was watching, you said that you were just chilling in bed, or you were like in your living room on your couch, and you were just watching the live stream. You were just like, okay, hey, they're probably not gonna call my name. And then as soon as you heard it, you went out to, like, what would, like,
Mhm.
out of the room to the rest of your family, and just tell me how the rest of that transpired.
So my guy, I had just gotten home. I was doing a visit with family,
Yeah.
and it was like 3 o'clock. I walked into my bedroom. I turned on the live. I turned off the lights, and I was going to watch the live draw and then take a nap. Like that was my plan, was to watch the live draw, see that I didn't win, and take a nap. And
Oh
so
boy.
they went through the first 9 winners, and I was like, okay. And I go to start like putting it down, and then out of nowhere, Marc Martin, and I like what? Like a jolt like went through me, covers off. I jump out of bed, I run out the door, and I'm literally in front of my wife. Like my arms are up, I'm waving around. She thinks I'm a crazy person. She has no clue what's going on. Um, and because yeah, just a couple of days earlier, she asks, "Hey, what's this purchase here for this I don't know. I forget what how it shows up in the bank statement.
Hmm.
What was this? I was like, "Oh, I used some of my fund money for entering a draw." And so as soon as like after this, and then I explained to her what was going on, she was like, "Wait, what? Like you won? That's
Oh, wait.
insane." And so as soon as I told her, she's like, "Are you sure it's not a scam?" And I run downstairs and I tell my dad about it. He's like, I've never heard of this. Are you sure are they a real company? Are you sure they're not a scam? And then he Googled them and they're like, yeah, Google's telling me that they're a real company. Like, so I think you're good. And then the emails come and I get the phone calls, and all of that. But yeah, I swear, as soon as I heard my name being called, I jumped out of bed so fast, and like I was jumping up and down, and I had so much adrenaline in me that my nap just never came.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, how can you sleep at that point? You're like, holy, I just won an
yeah,
AQUA TERRA, not just any AQUA TERRA, but the, what was it, the lacquer
yeah. It was the new
blue.
turquoise lacquered 41 millimeter. Like it's a gorgeous watch.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that watch in person at a boutique, and it's kind of hard to describe how that color pops in real life, and then how it changes depending on the light.
Yeah,
Different. It's an absolutely insane watch. So I mean, congratulations again
thank you.
for that. And so then, if I remember correctly, Wolf Watch Club took a break after that draw to kind of do some housekeeping and some
Yeah.
improvements.
Hmm.
And so then, next draw that they announced was Rolex Wimbledon, and the current one that's still going on for about the next month or so, the Rolex Sprite.
The Sprite. Yep.
So you've already had the watch at that point, the Aquaterra.
Hmm.
Tell
And I
me a
could have
little.
stopped there. And I could have stopped there. But
Right.
I told you I wanted a Rolex for this year for my milestones. And so I saw it and I was like, okay, I think I can dip my toe in again.
Oh my God.
Right. And so almost as soon as the draw goes live, like I actually saw the advertisements for it, and then I go to the website and it's not there. So I shoot Wolf Watch Club a message and I was like, hey,
Yeah.
like your advertisements are saying it's live, but it's not. And he's like, oh, they went live a little early. They should be up by this time. I was like, okay.
Hmm.
As soon as they go live, I'm like, all right, 9 tickets. I thought 9 out of
Okay.
333 might be a good number.
Yeah.
So this same time, I was also thinking about starting my TikTok and Instagram channel because like you've seen and I've seen, not a lot of people are talking about Wolf Watch Club. And several months ago,
Right.
there was a content creator named Ben at Ben's Watches who was like, "Hey, we need more watch people in the social space, and I'm going to hold a competition." I wasn't ready then, and I
Hmm.
didn't do it then. But then whenever this happened, I was like, maybe I should start now. Maybe I should like tell people about Wolf Watch Club. And so my first intro was about me. Told them I want a watch, that I would do a review later and talk about it later. And then the watch came, the AQUA TERRA. I did um, my unboxing, talked about my process and how that went with Wolf Watch Club. And then I got on Wolf Watch Club's website. This is midweek
Hmm.
after I'd already purchased the 9 tickets, and only 23% of the tickets had been sold.
Right.
And I got on Instagram. I was like, guys, there's 2 days and 18 hours left.
Hmm.
Only 23% of tickets have sold. Get in on this.
For one of the hottest
Or one of the
Datejust
hottest.
models
Correct.
out there.
Correct. And so I was like, man, if people aren't going to buy tickets for this, I'm going to buy tickets for this.
There you go.
And so I maxed out. I went 33 tickets, knowing that it would give me at the time, right? Like at the time that I did it, it gave me a 1 in 4 shot. Great odds. And I saw people still buying tickets, and I'm like, no matter what, I still have great odds. Better than
Yeah.
whenever I won my AquaTerra, right?
Right.
And so someone else answered Mark's call, went all in with me. Someone I think on the East Coast also had the full 33. And I was like, okay, there's some competition here. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be exciting. And so I did that midweek, and that way, like I wasn't rushing last minute to try and purchase tickets while I'm doing like family time and whatnot. And so I kind of put it out of my mind. Like I knew it was there, but I put it out of my mind. So. Again, it's Sunday. I'm getting home. I told my brother and my dad to both cross their fingers for me. I'm literally pulling into the driveway at 3 o'clock, and my dad's like, I want to listen to the live. And I was like, oh, it's probably going to be 15 minutes. Because they've got a lot of things that they do at the start of the program at the three
Yeah.
o'clock hour. And he was like, oh, I'm going to go take a nap then. It's like, okay. So I get in the house. It's a little bit of chaos. I haven't been home. The kids are a little crazy. And I do a couple things. I go outside, I sit on my porch, and I'm watching the live. And so I'm sitting out there after having texted my brother about something. And that's what I told my wife I was going to do. I told her I was going to go text my brother and talk to him about something important. And then I turn on the live and I'm watching, and he calls me at number 7 for my $40.
Marc Martin, number 9. You have won $40 at Wolf Watch Club. Congratulations, Marc Martin.
I'm like, okay, I want a little something. If I
Yeah.
don't get anything else, I gambled, I risked, and that was that. Well, then he starts talking to me directly. Mark Martin, are you in the chat? Are you here? How does it feel to have won, the $40?
Now we have Marc Martin in the chat right now. Marc, are you excited about winning your $40? Marc, can I get Marc to comment real quick? Marc, are you excited that you won uh $40 at Wolf Watch Club?
And I'm like, this is either going to go one of two ways. He's either going to reference my last week's win because he remembers my name,
Yeah.
or that number one slot is mine. And I thought it was the latter.
Can Marc comment real quick? This is important. Marc's here in the chat. Well, Marc, I just wanted to let you know that you won the $40 credit at Wolf Watch Club, uh, but you also won a Rolex Wimbledon. So congratulations, Marc Martin. You just won a Rolex Wimbledon, dude.
And so, like gangbusters, I jump out of my seat. I throw open the sliding glass door. My wife thinks I'm angry, like I'm in a huff, because I'm never this in a hurry. And so
Yeah.
I come in just in time for her to hear him say, Mark Martin, you've won the Wimbledon. Like
Oh
as
my.
I'm doing this again and jumping up and down, and she's like, "Well, what's going on? Wait, you won? Like what?" And then so she didn't have a lot of time to process, and she was like, "That's our watch. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with it." And I was like, "Nope."
Wow, she's already thinking about, all right, you already won the AQUA TERRA, right? That's nice. But now we've got the Datejust here, and now we're gonna sell that bad boy. And you were like, absolutely not.
No, no. This is like my only chance to maybe have. I'm sure. I'm also a doctoral student, a candidate, like at university. Like my chances of being able to like purchase a Rolex on my own in the next few years, especially for these milestones,
Yeah,
slim to none. Chances of somebody in my family purchasing one for me,
yeah.
even lower. So, like in my heart, I already knew. And then later on that night, she was like, "You're not gonna sell it, are you?" I was like, "No,
No way.
no way." And I was like, "But." Whenever I was on the phone with him, he did remind me that I'm not going to be able to complain about anything for at least 2 years.
That's yes, that's true. That is 100% true. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was watching the live stream and I was like, all right, it was an interesting draw because like you had mentioned about I don't remember what the final number was of the percentage.
It was like 60% had sold, and I thought that was crazy, especially for a watch like this. Now,
Yeah,
there could have been like certain factors which I have a suspicion about. Um,
yeah,
but even then, like I would have thought that more people would have bought into this draw, especially with
yeah,
the low ticket count.
yeah. Well, with again, Wolf Watch Club, right? Very early
Mhm.
stages. There are
Learning
other
the ropes, figuring it
yeah,
out. Yep.
There are other companies out there that do a similar setup, right? I
Yeah.
call it the Omaze model, if you're familiar with Omaze,
Mm-mm.
where they would give out like like supercars and like houses, and you would buy like entries that then they would donate a portion of it to like charity and stuff like
Oh yeah.
that. So right, like that model has been around for years now, but with watches, it's relatively new. Obviously, of course, you can't be too sure these days, right? With like things you see online,
Correct.
what companies are real, what companies are just trying to get one over on you. So, could you elaborate, especially for any new viewers, or even existing community members who maybe they know about us but are still unsure about entering? What's the experience like? So, you've bought tickets,
Hmm.
you got the Omega, now you got the Rolex, the Wimbledon.
Thursday.
So,
It'll be your Thursday.
oh my God. So tell us a little bit about like the interaction that you've had with Mark the Chief Executive Wolf, and sort of like the process of getting your name read on the live stream as the winner to receiving the watch.
So yeah, prior to winning the AQUA TERRA, like really no contact with him, right?
Hmm.
Um, I hadn't talked to him. I hadn't reached out to Wolf at all, because who was I to reach out to Wolf, right?
Hmm.
And so it wasn't until I had gotten the AQUA TERRA that I said, "Hey." Um, love what you guys do. I'm planning on doing this. Is that okay with you guys? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Get on, socials, do your unboxing, tag us, let us know. Send us the videos. If you're interested in sharing with the videos, please send those to us so that we can, put them on our YouTube channel whenever that time comes, because I don't think the YouTube channel had been created quite yet,
Hmm.
so that we can actually show members that real people are getting these watches. And so there were a couple of interactions. I was like, hey, Mark, I'm going to post about this today. Hey, Mark, this one's going to come today. And he's like, thank you so much. And then as soon as I do, he'll comment on the post saying, hey, thanks for this. Like, Martin's a winner.
Hmm.
The last one, he was like, he's a legend after the last one. Um, so like those like very positive interactions with Mark at Wolf Watch Club. Almost immediately within 24 hours, like you get your email saying, hey, you've won this watch. That happened with the Omega Aquaterra, that happened with the
Hmm.
Wimbledon. There is also a group that's going to reach out to you just to verify information, verify that you are who you say you are,
Hmm.
and then get some information about you, right? Like ask you about your story, similar to how you did with me earlier, and how you
Hmm.
asked what my watch journey was, a little bit about myself. And I probably was on the phone with them for like half an hour, just talking about
Okay.
myself. Um, and then shortly thereafter, the last shipment came from a different place that this next shipment is coming from. So they're very transparent about where their watches are coming from as well.
Yeah, it's pretty sure they're all coming from the same dealers, right? Is coming from the same dealer.
I
Um,
maybe the
or it might there might
Aquaterra,
there might be multiple dealers that
I think there's
now
multiple dealers. The Aquaterra came from a dealer
yeah,
in Canada.
got
The
it.
Wimbledon is coming from a dealer in Chicago. So like they're even letting you know
Yeah.
like where the watches originate
Yeah.
from.
Like, hey, yeah, expect a package from so and so. It'll be here on this day. Yeah, because I know that Mark is looking for other dealers to work with as well to source particular watches for different draws. Okay, so Wimbledon will be here on Thursday.
Weird Thursday.
Like what I should have asked you with the Aquaterra, like the day of that you knew it was coming, like were you just like on edge the whole day? Were you just
I
kind of
was,
like,
but
oh my God?
I was at work. My dad was here to receive, and then it didn't show up.
Oh,
For whatever reason, DHL said that I hadn't paid like
imp-
there was like a little fee
oh,
coming because it was coming from Canada. There's a little
yeah.
import fee.
Okay.
They said I didn't pay it. I was like, excuse me, sirs. Here's my receipts. Oh, okay, it'll be here in the next day or so. I was like, no, no, I'll come pick it up. So
Mm-hmm.
I drove to their DHL location to pick it up within an hour.
It always happens, like especially with watch collectors.
Hmm.
So like for example, I don't know about you, but I almost exclusively buy most of my watches online.
Yes, now that is what I do. Hmm.
And I almost always, well, not almost always, but a lot of the times what happens is I run into an issue where like the package is always delayed. It's being held at at UPS or FedEx or wherever it is because of an issue, and I'm just like, please, not with this.
Yeah, just get here. It belongs here. This is its home right here.
This is exactly where it belongs. Exactly. Just give me my watch already. It's always which actually reminds me, I forgot to do my wrist check. Seiko speed timer. I actually just picked this up yesterday at Macy's.
Nice.
Um, One of the very few times I actually go and buy a watch in person because I was just browsing Macy's and I saw it and I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to buy this for 2 years. Let me just wear it and see if I like it, and then the rest is history.
This is
As
as a side. Have you seen the new one that's the new Seiko Lux speed timer that they have coming out that looks like the Moonwatch? Ah, that
Yeah.
looks so good.
Seiko, say what you will about Seiko, obviously, Seiko kind of is a meme in the community for sometimes their QC. But like I think this is the most expensive Seiko I've bought. It's like I think I paid like, somewhere near like $500-600 for it, and it is just like
It's a
perfection.
great looking watch.
It is a great watch. So I can only imagine once you go to like King Seiko, and then obviously Grand Seiko is just a
Oh yeah,
totally different
yeah, it's
ball
a
field.
well, they keep them separate too. Like it's completely separate thing. They have
Yeah,
their own watchmakers and everything with that specific brand.
yeah, exactly. All right. So, okay, yeah. So far, your experience with Wolf Watch Club has been good. You won two watches. We have now the winner's choice, uh, Breitling Super Ocean Heritage
Hmm.
draw. Marc Martin, are you going to be entering into that draw as well?
I will probably do two entries. I'm going to utilize the
Okay.
two. I'm going to utilize the $40 credit and probably play $20 in order to get two tickets into that. Just to participate, dip my toe in. But I'm really hoping somebody else gets this next draw because somebody else deserves to win.
Yeah, and Brightly Super Ocean Heritage for me at least,
They're
I think
gorgeous.
that is an amazing watch.
Hmm.
Um, and then you have the option of getting either a black on the rubber strap, blue on the rubber strap, or blue on the mesh strap.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter which one you pick, you're gonna have a killer watch. And so that's the live draw now for this week, and I cannot wait to see who wins that because yeah, I mean, I've also never seen Jory Time Teller has mentioned this, and Mark D has also mentioned this too, that this
Giving a
format
choice.
this
Yeah.
format you don't really see with other companies that do this sort of thing. At least even too with like companies that maybe do it with cars or houses or whatever the case may be. I've never
Yeah.
seen a winner's choice. Like, hey, if you win, you can pick which variation you like. What do you think about that?
I think that's fantastic. Yeah, all of the other watch raffle clubs that I've seen out there. No, it's like, hey, here's the watch. This is the one you're purchasing tickets for. This is the one you're going to win. I think that's a fantastic idea for him to do that. I know that that's probably going to cost him a little more upfront, but hopefully that gets more people interested in the draws.
Yeah, because I mean, if you like the Super Ocean, but you've always been kind of back and forth between either the rubber strap or the bracelet.
Yeah,
Well, hey, if you win,
you get to choose. Yeah.
now you can choose whichever one you want, and then you can always buy the other one later if you really want to. Much cheaper buying the strap or bracelet than the full watch again.
Always go bracelet first and buy the rubber or the leather strap after.
I agree
Yeah.
100%. It's funny. I actually had a Breitling boutique saleswoman tell me that exact same thing. I popped into one by me in New York, And I think I was actually looking at the Super Oceans, and she told me the exact same thing. She was like, "Hey, if you're ever interested, here's my information, but I highly suggest buying it on the bracelet because, you know, if you ever decide that you need to sell it for whatever reason, hold its value a little bit better, but also it's just nice to have the bracelet in general, and you can always buy the
It
rubber
is.
strap later.
And
It's
not
more
only that,
expensive,
but they only mark up the bracelet
a couple hundred
in-house
dollars.
for a couple $100. But if you try to buy it aftermarket through them, it's going to be several $100s. Like the markup,
Exactly.
yeah, the markup, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, so, I'm excited. I know you're excited,
yeah.
and I'm sure everyone else watching is going to be excited for the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage. Again, that is a killer, killer watch. For those of us who are new, wolfwatchclub.com, all the draw information is going to be there, and that draw will be happening, if I remember correctly, this Sunday.
This Sunday,
So
3 p.m. Standard or Pacific Standard Time.
yep, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, and the draw will still, well, actually, will now be live on this channel, Wolf
Yes.
Watch Club channel. I think a couple people were looking for Time Teller's channel on
Hmm.
Sunday, but they figured it out. We're now going to start holding the live draws here. Um, so hey, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure for you to share your story, share a little bit about you, your journey, your experience with Wolf Watch Club. Because again, the whole point of this is we want to get to know you as a collector, you
Absolutely. Let's get some more winners on here.
you as, yeah, exactly. We want to get to know everyone as a collector, a human being. We want to not necessarily focus on, the specs and, the movements and this, and this, all the nitty-gritty of the watches. We want to know about the collector, why they enjoy watches, why they collect certain watches. Is there a particular watch that they like? Anything that's associated with a personal story, personal achievement. Those are the types of stories that we're looking to tell on this channel. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have you as the first member to start basically the YouTube channel with us. So my last question is gonna be if which watch in your collection will you keep forever and ever? You'll never sell it, you'll never part with it,
Ooh.
no matter what happens.
No matter what, and I think this is going to go back to it being a gift from my dad as a milestone for my master's program. That's going to be my Victorinox Inox watch that he gifted me for that. Everything else so far I've purchased for myself, and I
Mhm.
would say that if I receive something as a gift, a timepiece for my wrist from somebody else, those will be in my collection forever.
I'm the exact same way. Yeah. Anything I buy for myself, I've sold watches in the past before. Things I've either fallen out of love with or just never were, or, just needed some extra cash at the time. And, if I bought it, cool, no problem. I'll recoup some of the money I spent. But if it's a gift, typically, that thing will, over my dead body, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're not gonna get that watch from
Yeah.
me. All right, Mark, again, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Everyone in the audience, thank you for joining us for our first winner interview. We're gonna start doing these regularly now. We're gonna be also doing an interview with some members on just their watch journey and their collections. We're gonna be interviewing more winners as they come up. And as I mentioned at the top, for more information, wolfwatchclub.com. Also, shout out to Jory Goodman, Time Teller. You've been an amazing collaborator, helping us get this whole crazy thing off the ground. And we look forward to working with you as well on future projects. Anything else you want to say, Mark, before we wrap up here?
No, just that I hope that more people start like getting involved with Wolf, start getting involved with purchasing tickets because we need more winners out here. And I think that this particular club is super worth it. I love what he does. I love the low ticket counts that he keeps for the majority of his raffles. And I think that's what makes it worth it for me.
Agreed. Couldn't have put it better myself. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Like and subscribe, share, and if there's any recommendations or thoughts or anything that you'd like us to consider, implement, info at wolfwatchclub.com or you can DM us on Instagram, Facebook, any of our socials. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Thanks, Gabriel.